Sit, 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 sit,
Good morning. What a beautiful day to be watching Tree Plus You. The sun is shining. It's a gorgeous day outside, and we are lucky enough to call the Tennessee Valley home, don't you think? But if you're watching this morning and you're feeling a little bit stressed out, perhaps you're looking for a way to kind of ease some burdens in your life, we're going to kick the show off with two of our favorite people. They're here from Rev Optimal Living, Matt Smith and Brian Stutz. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
I think one of the reasons I enjoy talking with the two of you is that you never really have it planned out. I like an unplanned conversation.
Just showing up.
Yeah.
But the name of the business is Rev Optimal Living. Yeah. Even if life is humming along great, there's always a way you can tweak it just a little bit.
Absolutely.
To make it a little bit better.
Absolutely.
But this stress that I mentioned, Matt, a lot of us live with it and don't really even realize it. Y'all see that a lot.
We see it a lot. You know, over the last 7 years, we've been blessed to work with so many people from all sorts of physical ailments, mental, emotional ailments, but one of the biggest things we see is anxiety, depression. And the big piece that we talk about is that your nervous system's been processing millions of bits of information your entire life, and if we can start to optimize that system, our ability to process stress increases, but then also being able to be more adaptable to future challenges and future stressors.
So I think, Brian, what I know is that when people come to you, there's kind of an intake process, right? They first come and they spend a good bit of time just talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing is we just want to know, where your nervous system is right now in this moment, but also where's your nervous system at in the past? Because anything that's happened to you in your past, whether it's stress, challenges, or hardships, that's going to impact on your nervous system, and that's going to affect how you are today in this moment. So really that first visit is just getting to know people, where they're at, and how we can help support them moving along this journey.
I tell a story sometimes when I was in high school. I was that teenager that was doing everything. So I had a day at school where I passed out my senior year.
Oh, wow.
And so the principal came, and one thing led to another. He took me home. And I remember him saying to me, "Well, Julie, are you under a lot of stress?" And I said, "No, I've just been getting to school around 6:30, and I'm in this, and this. I have 2 AP tests. I have, you get the deal."
Yeah.
And I just kind of shrugged my shoulders, and Mr. McCollum looked at me like, "Oh yeah, that's no big deal." The point of the story is we cannot even realize the stress that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
But our body eventually says no.
Absolutely. Our conscious mind is only 5% of the game. I think it's actually less percentage of that. 95% of who we are is the things underneath the hood that we're not really aware of. So we're doing stuff at school, we're doing stuff at work, we have family, we have friends, we have all these different experiences. And before we know it, we've taken in so much data and information. And if we are not taking care of our bodies, we're not moving, we're not detoxing, we're not getting proper breathing and not getting proper sunlight, that stuff starts to build up. And before you know it, the autonomic response starts happening and it says, "Hey, no more, Julie, you can't handle anymore." And that's why you probably experience what you experience.
So when you mentioned, Brian, you want to know not only the stress levels now, but where you have also been, until your body is allowed, I guess, to address the past, the future can't build successfully. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just had a conversation with somebody just yesterday who was saying that now she looks back on an experience that happened 20 years ago that gave her so much stress, so much anxiety, and so much hurt and grief that came from it. And she said just recently she started looking back on that and she has no emotional attachment to it, which was such a huge thing for her because it was something that was weighing on her for the last 20 years. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. So something that happened 20 years ago or 20 seconds ago is still going to impact you the same way. And so for her to move beyond that experience from 20 years ago lets us know that her nervous system is integrating and processing all of those emotions, which is just going to help her further along the journey.
Okay, so we can't totally explain all that you do there in a short interview, but somebody comes in, let's say I came in, and I'm with you for about an hour, right, doing this intake process. Then that day, would you treat me? Would you do a treatment on me?
What would you call it?
I don't know. What do you call it?
Magic hands?
Yeah,
because you know some
because
people that have been through it.
Yeah, it's not. It's chiropractic, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, the short story of is that we all went through chiropractic school, we learned how to adjust, and then we found a different approach working with the energy in the body. So for you, answer your question, yeah, you'd come in, we'd get to know you, and we were talking about it before. I think what sets us apart is really getting down to who the person is sitting in front of us. I'm going to talk to you different than I'm going to talk to Brian, than I'm going to talk to, you know, Joe the construction worker or Kelly.
Yeah.
So for us, it's about who are you, what have you gone through, sharing how this healing process can support you. And then from there, I always ask people, hey, are you ready to start this journey? Are you ready to go through a process? And we take them through a 15, 20 minute, what we call neural integration session. And then after that, kind of share what our process looks like over the long term to support their healing.
I've got a couple of minutes left, so let's say they begin that, okay? And they do that 15-minute neuro integration process. When they leave, are they going to feel different?
I'll let you answer that.
You know, everyone's going to respond differently after that first visit. 9 times out of 10, yeah, there's going to be some sort of change that people have experienced after coming in just for one session. Whether that's, hey, all of your pain and all of your anxiety is gone, that's great. Or it could be, you know, some stuff came to the surface and we're starting to feel some shifts and changes within. And that's just your body's way of integrating and bringing those things to the surface so that you can heal them. Because if you don't feel into them, if you don't know where you're storing that stress and have that awareness, it's difficult for your body to heal and process and move beyond that. And so we always encourage people, like, hey, change in the beginning is the name of the game. That's what we're looking for.
I've got a minute left, so I'll say this. It sounds absurd, perhaps, to think that they can have all these people come through their doors and really know them well. I will say this, at the risk of sounding self-involved, we have a lot of people who come through 3+U. And I really kind of know them all.
Yeah.
The ones that come in, I do, I know them all. So of course you can do that. And you can see that it's in your heart to want to.
Yeah.
And that is a big differentiator.
I mean, real quick story, I know we only have 30 seconds, but we are 7 years into our practice. We're moving practices to a new location in a month from now. Dr. Brian, Steffi, Lauren, and Erica, our family, did something for Monica and I. They got all the names of all the people that have ever come through our doors over the last 7 years. There was over 2,500 names on there, and I was reading through them, and like a vast majority of them, to your point, I was like, oh, I remember him, I remember her, oh, I remember their story, I hope they're doing well.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's been a really amazing experience doing what we do, getting to know people and seeing them on their journey. So, yeah.
Well, here's how you can go and experience this for yourself, okay? It's Rev Optimal Living. For the time being, they're on Fraser Avenue. They're not moving far. They'll still be North Chattanooga
North
area.
Market.
On North Market. But the phone number, 713-7390, RevOptimalLiving.com. Ask for any of them. They'll be happy to hear your story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.